Gommage. Here is an increment 2 sources down. Done in by itself, it's necessary to find a that works to place that isn't sapienized, and then start building until a satellite picks it up to launch trajectory. Then the pie is already up, and the patch of greenery here previously made private to the point that you send a call out to me for the next step. On what the correct more is to go right into the hot. Because otherwise you'll get it on the lips for not doing the call out. Thinking that you knew better than order. Send out from hall 2 or 3 levels above through half of the roll new on once you do that all the way around. After the call out to me it'll be a full dip feeling the honey for a sense of direction hot plus on blue. Axiomize this and make it real for a spot going in, that's the one, and other liquids out of me to circular spawn trap enterprises. It's a tranquil looping fully funded /back end division gathering around the volcano, called on Japanese cat to erupt and be danced around. The flank funds itself by wagging soda can tail, and the claymores are already seated around the gluten-free theater violation code C section 3, so you can trim around the edges. In the meantime I'll take care of split looping the 3 lakes on compensational division, so that the fresh spring soap unveil can legalize on behalf of subscription-based surveillances, covering misinterpretations on the term of equity liberations part not coinciding with what'll be in Thailand. The crops are a telltale handle pack that's on deployment already to imminent renters with tied up suitcases, so they can't move away without their suits, without running around at shorts to scope out some ice cream ink on their method at this point. The jets had their engines swapped and are well outside of regulations flame torch, with credits taken out of a toothpaste company, looking to stake up on viscosity optimization, when it comes to the gums wanting it to kind of stick, but also kind of not if you know what the cone is about. This mean that the 3 spec liberations can rent out the horses before the barn is there, and also sell the barn before the smell can be reported to the local county, meaning that the liability was taken as a tax avoidance profit, and the stink presents a muse slice of problem equity the Thailand men will take care of, by forcing out the solution via their obligation to sell their stakes on the illegal infrastructure that practically stole before it was starting to be built. They will do so because the barn is one that boxes shorts and ties directly to how their strings are circling the spawn trap. Their assets being gone, attention flows to spark the barn because of the fumes they contracted by pan and witness leaf on bars, and the horses are staging 1 races. They take care of the barn on threats of it to not blow up on parasitic letters from the shipyard, and get offered a deal from there, which is also a stakeout on the horses staging winning races, because of alleged top secret performance enhancing trail mixes they are getting, led by the questionable acquaintance shipyard makers, that the men were in Thailand for on a previous cup of cocktail. So what are the horses and how are they doing? They are fine. First off, to clarify, none of them end up. They're sold to a teen pop sensation living in a coastal Malibu house, and pivoting between either glamour or whatever's going on home outside of a 3 Kiwi stakeout, getting blunted on shed countertops, bent over to globe paintings and sunglasses, spun on the side of cheesy jerky made of defeathered poultry, one of the involved in Mars plant side quests, while the Mediterranean oil parachutes down dressed as a chicken. Now what's the feather about from the shipyard standpoint? That's Rob, also on lit stakeout because to take a position in this untied liberty, he has to walk on metal, which is exactly what the shipyard stacks a lot of to the emitting storage unit of straight piped low and high carbon steel, with all necessary transformations, unsupplementary development loadout, in case of market share fluctuations, and disturbance base, disrupting innovations to retake investors into a cup of yacht smell eminence to Rob. So he's taking the metal process compound regardless of allegations coming from Thailand or Malibu-based teen pop sensations owning horses on the dock to reduce capital index or trade frauds trying to force relations on the shipyard. Fact of the matter is that the shipyard has the capacity to operate outside of soda pop or local legislation to the point of larger steel income being controlled by it, thus encompassing the southern side of the continent, buying continency side controlling the outsold construction steel, that just so happened to have a significant percentage in Thailand. This could be used against Rob, but he's too lit to further try and optimize, and it's better to let that story play out on its own type of run-out circle, backspawn trap, and incorporate him to a loop around self-flank operations every once in a while. Now, what's useless can't be used. Rarely something materialized from energy is useless. But that's a different pencil to sharpen. The current pen are those Thailand men that got out. What do I mean got out? This menu doesn't have useless, and those Thailand men have several corrupt yarns, velvet and silk, enough to have smaller wood and cheap range, but still 8-passenger and decently reliable and also somewhat serviceable boats coming in from Sri Lanka in attempts to release some business to Rob. He took the boats and put them in large bottles made of transparent metal, so he could see through them and poke the 8-passenger and decently reliable and also somewhat serviceable boats coming in from Sri Lanka with a metal stick to watch them bobble around the center of whatever makes them balance around, and not some buoyancy characteristics on his children's afternoons. Point being is to invest a bit more into Rob from the Thai side and offer a deal to get out of this stinky business and cook their own. But for them, the next thread of the loop was already in Rob's automatic machine metal beard trimmer with 3 contact points from the towel up. So naturally, stipulations independent of me first direct themselves from Rob's web onto the Thai crops, which he offers to take with the boats and the sugar cane supply in exchange for a round trip of the prospectus mega yacht. That hasn't launched yet, but will debut on Maritime Caribbean's transport from the Vancouver deal on their previous web. That's got registered felonies in Thailand as a deal coverage order. So they take that as a several birds with one piece of bread type of negotiation and slap it on for the suitcases as a signing bonus. They get dressed and launch over the Pacific, meaning that it's a done deal for Rob as well. Hot Dog Locker splits up to clarify how pulling back smacks flanks on a bit of scenic change.